Hey everybody, welcome. Episode 1, Delta Flyer build. Welcome. Should get a bunch done today, I hope. Gotta stop my stream over on my computer. Let's not do that. There we go. All right. Hey Chaz, welcome. I was hoping that we were gonna fully assemble the frame like complete today, but of course, Amazon only sent me 4 bearings. So I only have 4 IGES bearings, unfortunately, which really sucks. So I cannot put the top of the frame on today, which is unfortunate. Hey, welcome. So I'm literally 1 bearing short, but that's not a big deal. We'll finish that off next stream. We'll get a good chunk of it done today for sure. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of parts printed now. Yeah, I certainly could. I don't want to take Min apart. I'm planning on, I might either sell Min or, do a live stream giveaway for you guys with Min. I don't know yet. I don't want to take Min apart, so. But what we are going to do today is we're going to finish off this bottom frame, get the motors installed. I printed off the carriages in Sparta Galaxy Blue. Big thanks to Sparta 3D for sponsoring this. They really helped me out with filament. So all of this is ABS Plus from Sparta 3D, and it is all Galaxy filament. So that's awesome. So yeah, we're gonna get a pretty good start, I think, on this. And then next stream we'll be basically wrapping the frame up. So I still have to print the corner brackets and stuff like that out, but yeah, no, more content for sure, and it's fun building Delta Flyer, so I definitely want to do that. I've been modifying the parts as I'm designing them. Obviously, you've seen the new mods for the bed, so you can bolt the bed down. I've been modding that, and I've even got some more ideas to make that even better. So yeah, it's pretty good for that. Tweaking a lot of stuff, fixing printables, having the wrong stuff on there. Obviously I missed the end stop spacer, but it's on there now. Just fine tuning a lot of the little parts. Again, once we're done this build on live stream, I'm doing a YouTube video and it's official out. No more beta. So hey Tony, welcome. Yeah, everything's on printables. You can just search Delta Flyer on printables. I can show you how the arms work. Most of it today. We'll talk about the arms, how you build them. It's pretty straightforward. The bill of materials does have the parts for the arms on there. No printable stuff on the arms. This is meant to be higher quality, but still easy to DIY. So last stream, episode 0, I made a mistake and I put on a old motor spacer without the cutout. I should have actually been using one of these, which has a cutout at the top. So thanks for the reminder on that one. I would just old CAD and I was not using the right part. So we're going to quickly fix that. Yeah, this is absolutely for you guys to be able to ask questions, learn, how to build things that might not be so clear when you see the printer. So this was the old motor spacer. It's not correct. I made a cutout here so that you can much more easy tension the pulley set screw, so adjust the pulley set screw. So that notch goes on the top of the motor so that you can actually get a Allen in there and actually do the tensioning, or not the tensioning, but the adjustment of the pulley in and out so that you can have your belts line up correctly. So we will get this all lined up here. Need all of these. So these are M3 by 25 for these pulley parts here. No, there is not, but these plates, you can take the plate off without taking the printer apart. I made it so that this plate will just come off. It's not attached to the rods or anything in any way. So I thought about that, but I wanted it to be as clean as possible, so I didn't make a cutout here for it, because you can just take the plate off. And actually, you can put the plates on at the very end, right? These don't have to go on until you're absolutely done the build. So you can leave them off. Hey Rebel, welcome. There's screw in. Magnetic plates. Hey Joe, hey Canrog. Magnetic plates would be pretty cool. That would be an easy user mod to do magnetic motor cover plates, certainly. That'd be a good mod. There's a lot of space on here to do magnets for sure. And then yeah, these could just be magnetized right down. So right now it's just they just screw into plastic. So pretty straightforward. Hey Alex, welcome. Yeah. No, that'd be a really easy mod for sure. So and I gotta check my phone because I'm doing a LAN party today. So I've got LAN party here in a couple hours. Alex, I actually have my own design called Pegasus. I did a short on it. If you look on my YouTube, don't worry, it's going to be coming out. I don't know if I can like turn this, but you can see right there is my own version called Pegasus. You don't even have to print the bottom frame, Chaz. Just print out the motor plate, and you can line it up and just drill the holes, right? They're just like, get a 2.5 millimeter bit and just drill the holes. You don't have to reprint the frame if you don't want to. So, nice. Hope you guys are having a good visit. I'm jealous. One day I'll come to Norway. I did use LDO motors on my prototype Delta that's on the floor over there. I'll show it at the end of the stream. But these are literally like $5 Amazon or $10 Amazon motors. They're the cheapest possible motors. I just don't want to take apart my prototype. Again, I might give that away to you guys or I might sell it. I'm undecided on that. So, hey Bruno, welcome. Yeah. So you definitely don't have to reprint the frame if you don't want to. Yeah, Pegasus. I'm just waiting on my brand new frame for Pegasus, and there will be a lot of videos. We'll do a live stream. It's in beta right now. If you go on my Discord, you can find all the files. Yeah, it's coming along great. So Pegasus will be my flying gantry, like inexpensive design of my own. So, all right, we got one motor attached here, so we can go ahead and get another one on. Oh, nice. Yeah, no, Pegasus, like once I do a video of it, like an actual real video on it, um, people will be more aware of it, and hopefully we'll get some people start building it. It's a really, really cool printer, and I'm even my prototype, I'm really happy with how it prints. And like I say, there's definitely some fixes I'm gonna make, like double shear motors, and fixing some belt tensioning things, and just little stuff like that to make it perfect, or as close to perfect as possible. There's no such thing as a perfect printer, but I can put mine on printables today. After stream, I'll put it on printables in a zip file for you. That's not a problem. I have the config pretty much sorted, other than a couple little things, but certainly can do that. Awesome. Yeah, sounds like there'll maybe be two Pegasus serials coming soon. So yeah, you can see there's plenty of room to get an Allen in there to actually do adjustments on the actual pulley distance. So you can fully come in here, loosen these up, spin the motor around, and you can slide the pulley in and out really easily to actually get your belt alignment perfect. I am going to print out a tool to space out the pulley, so you just a shim to put in between the pulley and the motor so that you can get it really, really close. But anyways, so Chaz, you do one calibration. You do one delta calibration. I'd recommend doing it with just a piece of paper. Clipper will guide you through the delta calibration, and you're done. You never do it again, pretty much. I'll show that off in the stream. This stream will be all-encompassing. Yeah, manual calibration works well. I have a probe as well. The probe doesn't fit that good on a bamboo hot end, but you can buy a cheap probe for $10 from Triangle Labs. I think it's on the Min bill of materials. All right, so I did pre-install the rods on one of the bottom pieces here, so this is like pretty heavy. But we're gonna bolt it up right away anyway, so hopefully I don't smack myself. I've already done the heat sets for this on last stream, so So these are M3x12s to assemble the frame. Very straightforward. No, exact same effector. The effector on this one, I literally just took Min's effector and I just made it better. It's the exact same size. I made a bit better cooling duct for it, and then it has M3 bolts in it and everything. Yeah, 14s will work just fine too. So we'll do the final motor. And yeah, these don't even have a name on them, these motors that I'm using. I think these came in a pack of 3 on Amazon for like 15, 19 bucks, something like that. Like they're the cheapest motors like in existence, by far. Stepper motors generally can add up in cost for sure. They're usually at least $60 to $70 minimum. So they're not that great, but they seem to work okay for my prototypes and most of my builds and whatnot. But yeah, I did use LDO motors on my prototype, and because I used LDO motors, I was able to use Clipper Auto Tune for them. I'm not in Montreal. I am in Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta. No, the rods, they stop about 10 millimeters above. That's to maximize the Z height as much as possible. So they do have a taper kind of that stops them. So yeah, they do not go all the way down to the bottom. You will hear it and you will feel it when you're tapping in the rod when it stops. Oh, nice, Rebel. That's awesome. Well, keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace. I sell my printers all the time on Facebook. So if you're wanting a prototype, a Robohan prototype, they are on Facebook. There we go. Yeah, so you can see here. I'm pretty. Hopefully you can see. They only actually go down. I think it's 10 millimeters. You'll hear it when you tap them in. It'll just completely stop. So yeah, don't force it. Definitely don't force it. So. And then you can see the front of the frame. There's notches here now for the hinges so that the door will close. And then there's where our magnets go. So you can see here there's heat sets on all of the parts here so that we can put our acrylic panel on. Okay, and I totally forgot to do the pulley on that one, which is not a big deal, but hey, welcome. $34 viewers, awesome. Yes. Yeah, correct. They don't go in all the way. Same thing with the top as well. They do not go all the way flush. I do have a hard stop on them, and that is to give that Z as much as possible. So let me get an actual pulley on here so I don't forget. It's not the end of the world. Pretty easy to add afterwards. Oh, and I just totally forgot. I forgot to add a bearing to the. Something else that I forgot to do. So, you do need a bearing on these bearing plates. That's why they're called bearing plates. So, nice. Yep. Someone actually just messaged me on Facebook right when I started the stream. They're interested in that printer, so. I am unemployed, so I do have to sell my old designs. So yeah, I'm trying to do this full time. Sorry about that. But I'm a long ways before I can like officially say I am full-time YouTube / printer builder, designer, whatever. So it's not so fun being on unemployment right now, but thankfully my Patreon is doing quite well. It's growing, so my goal is to get about 650 paying Patreons or YouTube members, so that I can officially like go full time YouTube. Okay, so I have to take it off again, but you can see there's a F695 bearing that holds the motor shaft, so they're double shear. And I need to do heat sets, so let's get my soldering iron going here. So I'll turn that on, get that heating up, because yeah, I need to do heat sets on these guys. I'm jumping the gun on this. All right, Clean Rock, have a good one. How's the belts tensioned? The belts are tensioned from the top. There's a little M3 on the top that tensions the belts. So you'll be able to see that once we start assembling the top, which unfortunately won't be this stream. It'll probably be next stream. But I can show off the top frame because I do have it printed out. So yeah, heat sets go in the back of these, and that's for the corner covers that bolt onto this. So there are covers that go on all 3 corners of this printer to cover everything so that we can put our panels on. But we do need to put heat sets in these. I did put one in here already. We did that on, so I did put heat sets in here. You can kind of see that a little bit. So I'm not going to forget that, and I'm going to add a heat set to these plates. And my heat sets should be here. So they just go into the back. Grab our soldering iron, and we will just heat that up and press it in. You want to make sure that these are perfectly flush, otherwise they will not bolt on all the way. So get it good and hot, and then just use something flat so that you can get it nice and flush. Yes, there is a mod. I think it's on printables, and I think I've added it to the mods, the Delta Flyer mods. You can find that. So yeah, we have a nice flush heat set in there. Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping a lot of people build this, and we get a lot of mods and stuff like that for them. So, but yeah, there's actually 2 mods for the tensioning. So you would print a different top frame, and then you would print different carriages, so the carriages have the tensioning on them. And there we go. Perfectly flat. Heat sets as it should be, and then we'll take our F695 bearing and we'll just pop it in the back. Make sure that's nice and flat. Now it's ready to bolt onto this. No, I filleted the outside just for a to make it look nicer. They go on the other flat side. So yeah, there is a fillet on the outside, but the bearing does not go on the, it goes on the inside to hold it in place. All right, so let's get all these bolts on here, and then we can do the other heat sets. And while my iron is hot, I might as well do the heat sets on the upper frame as well. And again, you can print this, if you're not going to enclose this printer, you can print it in PLA if you want to. I'm printing mine in ABS because I am enclosing this. Delta Flyer was designed to be enclosed. There we go. All right, so heat sets on, motor, bearings on, there. We just need to add heat sets to this side here. Hey, Pixel Thrust, welcome. Yeah, there should be definitely no play. I don't want the bearings flopping around and stuff, so it should be a tight fit. My Bamboo X1 prints them pretty good. I can just press them in, but sometimes I'll have to like press them up against my desk to really make sure they're tight. Alright, so yeah, you can see it'll stick out the top a bit, the flange of course of the bearing, but yeah, they sit nice and flush. If your holes are too or if it's too tight, you might have your flow rate too high. So I highly recommend you dial, especially for ABS, dial in your flow rate. Check out the Ellis's tuning guide and dial in your flow rate. If your flow rate is too high, you will have problems. Nice. I'm excited to see your clipperized P1S. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, if you and again, it depends on your ABS, but a lot of ABS, they want a flow of like 94%, 95%. It's got to change quite a bit for ABS. And that will change a lot of the features. I learned that like a long time ago when I was building one of my Voron Tridents. I printed out a bunch of ABS hinges, and the hinges wouldn't work. So I found out that I had to dial in the flow for my ABS, and the hinges worked perfectly. So it doesn't really change like that too much, but yeah, you have to. Thanks for stopping by, Rebel. these are nice and flat. Oh, you're using PTG carbon fiber. Yeah, it's definitely possible. You need to dial your flow in, absolutely. Chaz, sound can be a lot of different things. Depending on your microstepping, if you're using 16 versus 32 microstepping, that will completely change the sound of the motors, absolutely. And then if you use Clipper Auto Tune, it'll change the sound even more, depending if you're running interpolation or not. So there's a lot of ways for you to be able to change the sound of the motors, depending on what settings you have configured in Clipper. Microsteps change it quite a bit, I will say. Going from 16 microsteps to 32 changes a lot. Yeah, give me 1 second here and I'll post it for you. It's probably a good idea for me to post it anyways. Of course, if you're not on my Discord, definitely join my Discord. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you want. There it is. There's the link there for anyone who wants to check out the printables page. Okay. No problem, Ed. Welcome to the stream. All right, there we go. Bearings installed. Motor support bearings and heat sets are all installed. That's better. All right, so I think what I'm going to do while the iron is hot, literally, I'm going to do the heat sets on my top parts here. So the top frame pieces do have a print in place support that you just snap away. Nice and clean like that. So you don't have to worry about setting up supports in your slice or anything like that. They just literally snap away perfectly like this. They work so well. So we're going to add 4 heat sets to each of these. Yeah, Clipper uses rotation distance instead of E-steps. But you do set your microstepping, whether it's 16, 32, 64, whatever it might be. I usually run 32 microsteps. If I want a nice quiet printer, usually I will do that. "16 microsteps will give you that really nice, speedy sounding printer, like an NX printer sounds like, if you ever watched those. They have that very distinctive sound. That's generally the 16 microsteps. 16 microsteps definitely, gives you more torque. I don't think by much, but some people do like to run it 16 for that reason, but 32 is just fine. And I mean, I will say it is recommended for a Delta to use 0.9 degree motors instead of 1.8. So again, it's not like mandatory or anything like that. If you already have 1.8 degree motors, use them. But if you're ordering brand new motors, use 0.9 degree motors. You will get a bit more accuracy for sure. I haven't done like insane testing or anything to tell you how much accuracy you'll get, but yeah, high speed 16 microsteps motors sound pretty cool, I will admit. But the motors also can be pretty loud, depending on your tolerance for noise. My tolerance, I don't have a really big tolerance for noise, so fan noise and all that kind of stuff. I like my stuff to be very quiet, so generally I'll go to 32, and then a lot of my printers are designed with like AC beds. I don't want fans running and stuff like that, so. So 4 heat sets on there, and then if I remember correctly, we're gonna add heat sets on the ledge here too. So these have a ledge here to put the inner top plate on. So we do need some heat sets there too. Hey Danny, welcome from Germany. Awesome. So double shear completely supports the motor shaft from bending, right? So if I can hold this up correctly, and the rod is probably going to mess up but so if you can imagine the pulley is being pulled up by the belt tension, right? So we have our motor shaft, right? You have your pulley in here, and you have the tension of the belt pulling up. We need a motor at the end. We need a bearing at the end so that this cannot pull up, right? There's a bearing on this side in the motor, but there's nothing supporting the end of the actual stepper. So you have movement, and you want belts very tight on a Delta. So you have to have double shear. Otherwise, you will bend that motor shaft upwards. So you absolutely need double shear to support both. Both ends of the shaft need to be supported. The pulley is not supporting the motor shaft, so that's what that's for. All right. Doesn't really matter what way these go in. I'm trying to remember. So this is the top here. Our heat set at the top. I got to remember that too. So I will probably put these in from the bottom then. So this is our metal, or our middle one, so there is no Hey Gene, welcome from Brazil. Awesome. Oh yeah, Chaz, thanks for stopping by. You're probably already left, but thanks for checking out the stream for sure. Yeah, really, any printer should have double shear bearings on the motors. Yeah, you would need longer motors and longer shafts then. Really depends on the printer, and these motors, I think the motors I have here are the shortest shaft you can get. So on Delta Flyer, the actual the pulley doesn't cover the whole shaft. So these are a very standard size on Delta Flyer. So, but yeah, depending on the printer you're building, the height of your pulley might be too high to do bearings at the end. So the design has to accommodate for that, for sure. So this is our top frame middle piece. Because it's the middle piece and the door closes on this, there's no heat set for a panel. So we will do the heat sets on this guy. What is the size of the shaft on your SV06 motors, Alex? Yeah, I mean, you can still use them, don't get me wrong. If you can't make the bearing work, it's not the end of the world. Just don't go crazy on the tightening the belts. I never designed Delta Flyer to be insanely fast. It's a printed frame after all. So if you're not printing insane speeds, then you should be okay. Just don't go crazy on that. I don't think I have another motor to measure, but 20 should definitely work. I'm pretty sure this is the same motor here. A 20 millimeter shaft is pretty standard. It definitely should work. There's a lot of metal shavings on that extruder. Probably not ideal. Let's see what my shaft is at here. All right, so mine is, maybe these are 22. Nope, mine are 20, Alex. So these should absolutely work. When you install it, you should have enough for it to stick out to hit the bearing. Absolutely. And yeah, 20 is like the smallest size, so you should have enough room. Have you started assembling the bottom frame yet? I think you'll find a pulley goes in more than you think maybe, but they should absolutely work. Oh, it's your idlers that's too big. Okay. Yeah, go just buy yourself some new idlers if you want to. If you want to use double shear. Like I say, you don't have to. Yeah, it's probably your idlers then that are are bigger than normal. I always have Cartesian printers. Yeah, depending on the Delta, they can be a pain, but with clipper on them, their Deltas are awesome. Deltas are minimal fuss. You calibrate them once and then you just print. You just go after one calibration. But like I say, they should be running Clipper or RepRap firmware. And Marlin Deltas are not fun. I've owned a couple Marlin Deltas. They're not great. You definitely want to do a clipper conversion or something if your delta's not running clipper. Yeah, for bed slingers and stuff like that. Like I say, I mean, it's nice if they're designed with double shear. If you're going to be moving a very heavy axis like your Y axis, double shear would be really nice for sure. Yeah. If you want, Alex, you could just not run the bearings. Like I say, you will probably be fine. Don't be running like 15,000 acceleration or something like that, and you'll be okay. So use what you got first, right? You can always change it later. Don't bother buying parts and stuff like that if you don't have to. If you got them, use them. Hopefully your idlers work for the top frame because those are pretty specific size for the idlers on the top. Alright, 2 more heat sets on this guy and then 1 more to go and we can start assembling the top frame. I mean, you should calculate it. There's definitely a bunch of tools you can use, like well, I mean, you can use your phone, of course, but it depends on your belt. It depends on your printer. And it depends on your input shaper results, right? You should definitely run something like Shake Tune, which will tell you your belt tensioning and if they're the same and if they're accurate and stuff like that. So but without input shaper, it's difficult to set an actual run it at 110. I think Voron's 110, 113 or something like that is like a general recommendation, but there's a lot of factors that go into play on your actual delta tension. What's the difference between 2GT and GT2? Closey, I'm pretty sure it's literally just how people word it. I don't think there's any difference. GT2 and 2GT are the same as far as I know. I know what you mean. I know what you say. There's on Amazon. You can see those on AliExpress. You can see 2GT and GT2. I think it's the same belt. I think it's just inputted slightly differently, but I think it's the same. A bit more heat in that. Oh. You have an FL Sun T1. I'm not sure what you mean, Angus, by what purpose does the belt serve? So on a Delta, there is no XYZ, technically. It's A, B, C belts. So your belts are what actually does the motion on the entire printer. So your belts control your Z, X, and Y all in unison on a Delta, all at the same time. Okay, so this one's done. This one's done. We just need to do this guy here. Yeah, your belts are responsible for moving all of your axes on any printer. Well, if you have loose belts, your tool head is going to be sloppy. It's going to be moving all over the place, right? If your belt's not tight enough and it's loose, your printer tool head will overshoot, and you'll get all sorts of weird layer lines and all sorts of stuff like that. You need your belts to be tight so that it does not, there's no play essentially, right? You will absolutely lose printer accuracy. And yeah, you'll be skipping and all sorts of stuff. Now, if your belts are too tight, then you'll also get like skipping layer shifts and all that kind of stuff. So there's a happy medium for belts. You don't want them too light, too tight, and you don't want them too loose. Unfortunately, I don't have a good track record with FL Sun stuff. And I don't know how easy it will be to read the input shaper graphs to find out your belt tensioning and stuff like that. But there's some really good videos on YouTube on what belt tensioning is and how to tension your printer. If just YouTube is probably the best. There's some really good guides on there on how to tension belts. I don't really go crazy on belt tensioning personally. I will tune it by feel. I'm not very picky when it comes to that. I'm also not printing world record speed benchies either. So the best way is just get an app on your phone, like Pano Tuner, and just tension them to a decent hertz, like I say around 110 hertz, and then use Clipper Shake Tune. If your printer is running Clipper, you can use Shake Tune and it will give you an idea of your belt tension. Clipper has a lot of aftermarket's not the right word. Thanks for stopping by, Bruno. Clipper has a lot of DIY modules you can install to help you with that type of stuff. Input shaper, belt tension, all that kind of stuff. But definitely go onto YouTube and type in like Clipper belt tension if you want some guides on what to look for, what's a general good, belt tension hertz to aim for and stuff like that. Especially on Core XY, the belts should be the same tension. Yeah, you can tension them by sound. But I do find it's pretty handy on like using something like Shake Tune. Get a graph of your tension. Like get an actual graph. So Shake Tune will give you a graph. You do need an accelerometer though. All right. So this is all done there. We can start assembling the top frame. About rods. The best rods, I haven't really found such a thing. The rods in my bill of materials should be pretty good. Usually CNA rods or I think it's like Lynx CNC is the name. Yeah. Yeah, too tight a belt will definitely cause layer shifts for sure. All right, so where is my other? Oh, it's still on my X1. Let me go grab my other frame part on my X1 real quick. All right. Printer parts. You go to Tronxy Crux 1 for free. Yeah, that's... Okay, I need to pop these off with a... So again, these parts have print in place supports also. If I can get... And I have labeled them with their actual, this is the B, tower B, which is Y on your printer mainboard. So how it goes is, this is AX, this is BY, and this is C. So on your Clipper config on a Delta, it's A, B, and C. There's no X, Y, and Z. They're easier. Auto bed leveling, like with a probe and stuff like that, it's definitely easier. You will get more accuracy. It depends on how much of a perfectionist you are. You can get a very awesome accuracy on manually leveling if you have the patience. I do not have the patience, so most of the time I will run a probe and use auto level. So again, more M3 by 12s. Hey Maker Viking, welcome. So very straightforward build. This is a low parts count. Deltas don't generally have that many parts. Obviously our frame is multiple pieces, but if this was a 2020 frame Delta, it would have even less parts than this. But and we are just making sure that our hole for our heat set is facing up, right? Because this is basically going to go on the top. And then again, print in place supports here. These are for cable routing if you want to run your cables on the outside of the printer, which will make more sense when we do get near the end of the build. So again, those just pop off like that, so that if you want to run your wires out from the bottom, up the side, and then back in, you can do that on this, if you want to. This printer is pretty compact. It's 120 by 120 circular build area, right? Not square. So it is smaller than a square 120 by 120. So this is a small entry-level Delta printer, I guess is the best way I can put it. It's meant to be compact, sit on your desk beside your computer, all that kind of stuff. There's probably not really any point to manually leveling with an auto level printer, but it really depends on your printer. Even on an Ender 3 with auto leveling with a BL Touch, you still have to level the bed with the 4 screws. You still have to get it as close as you possibly can. Auto leveling is only meant to compensate for a small deviation, right? So you're still going to be like on an Ender 3 or a Tronxy or a bed slinger. There's still generally 4 or 3 screws. You have to make sure the bed is flat as you can get it. Then your auto leveling probe will take over and get it as good as it possibly can be. So auto leveling is just to assist with getting a good first layer. That's all. But like on my Bamboo X1, for instance, there is no manual leveling. It automatically levels everything. There's no way to do a manual level. Depends on the printer, depends on the probe that you have, all that kind of stuff. So I need to make sure this is the right height. The right orientation, I should say. So the top frame is basically just a mirror of the bottom. It's very similar. It doesn't have provisions for the motors, but it has provisions for idlers because that's where our belts are going to go up to. And as you can see, it's a very straightforward assembly. And there's the top frame. We have our blue accent. Of course, this is called Delta Flyer from Star Trek Voyager. So yes, I'm using gray, blue. We'll probably have some red in here as well for our colors. So basically what we have here is, I want to make sure I'm getting the front here. So this is actually how it will go. So this is the front of our printer here. So basically we have our little bed here. Hey, welcome. Welcome from Brazil. So we can go ahead and install our motor covers if we want, just for the sake of the stream. Should do these correctly though. So I have also added cutouts here to run your motor wires. You only level a delta once, generally. And Clipper does it for you. Clipper will guide you through the leveling. It's very straightforward. That's why Clipper is so awesome. Yes, diametric tail fins. We have Borg stuff on here. I should have thrown a little bit of green in here. Maybe I will. Just some green accents. But yes, I'm a big Star Trek Voyager fan. Big Star Trek fan in general, so the name of this is Delta Flyer for a reason. It's also a Delta printer, so it just fit. And these motor covers just clean the printer up so much. You can add auto leveling if you want to. You can add a probe to auto level this if you want to, but you can manually level it with a piece of paper. Canrog, this is like right up your alley. You love rooks so much. Like this is the Delta version of a rook. Like you got to have like 3 or 4 of these printers. I don't know what you're doing. You should have these by now. I'm a bit disappointed that you don't. These holes are very tight, so. But they're nice and flush. Now, I will say that my build is using a 120 millimeter bed, but the actual bill of materials, it's a 150. I just had this laying around, so yes, I designed this printer myself. I design all my own printers. So this is absolutely 100% my own design. I guess I never really mention that in my streams usually. This is a little trickier with these rods here, but definitely still doable. And I will show you a finished version of this at the end of the stream. I have a prototype that is completely assembled, that you can get a better idea on how it looks. I don't need to put all the screws in because I'm most likely going to be taking this off at the end of the day anyways, but I just wanted to get it. Okay, these holes are pretty small. This is just one of my first ones. There's not many DIY deltas, and starting small is always best. I do have a bigger one called Phoenix, but that's pretty outdated, and I will be making a updated version soon. But yeah, this will be heated. You can use so there's a smaller one on printables called Min. I'll show it to you if I can get it over here. I might not be able to, but if this will cooperate with me. Yeah. So here's a smaller version of this called Min. Min is in minute, or so you can get a bit better idea of what this will end up being. So this printer is very similar to Delta Flyer. So this is just a bigger version of it. So my first printer, geez, 4 years ago probably, yeah. So this one, the bed is just PLA. This is all PLA. Very easy to print, you know, minimal wiring, low parts count, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing prototyping on this. I made my own extruder for this, you can kind of see. So I made a single gear extruder, 1-to-1. And yeah, there's a top cover that goes on here, but I'm playing around with prototyping on this. This uses printed arms, but I don't recommend it. It was just something to mess around with. This is on printables as well. This is a tiny printer though. This is like 80 by 80 print area. Like you can print a Benchy on here. The Benchy, that's as big as it goes. This is just meant to print little toys, fidgets, things like that. So, oh God, don't get me started on 1515 printers. I hate 1515 extrusions. I built too many V0s. Not my cup of tea, I will say. Yeah, I've been designing printers for at least 4 years, maybe longer. Core XY, all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, that's the basic idea. And then I do have a little PEI, magnetic PEI. There we go. Yeah, I've done a lot of designs. I mean, I am unemployed, so it's easy for me to do CAD right now because I've got lots of free time. But it depends on the printer. Big Tree Tech Picos, Big Tree Tech SKR Minis. I've got lots over here. This one's going to be using this. So a Manta. This is a Manta Easy. Big Tree Tech sent me. It's a good size. I can put a CB1 on here and run Clipper right off of this. So I wish I could print coffee. That'd be amazing. I know you can print coffee filament. A lot of my Core XY printers use this Monster MKS. This is probably the cheapest 8 driver board you can get. No, deltas are not any less accurate as long as they are built well and long as they are calibrated properly. Deltas can be very, very accurate. So, but yeah, we can kind of see here. This is gonna basically be pressed on here. And this is like the full height version. My prototype is actually a bit shorter. But yeah, essentially what we're going to be doing next live stream, which will be next Saturday, we are going to be installing the carriages, which actually house our... This one's got a little thing I got to clean up there, so... Delta printers use optical end stops, so there's no mechanical end stops. We need high precision. So there's one of our carriages. So these are going to be moving up and down as we print. Actually, we want it this way. Yeah, Monster 8s are excellent boards. I've never had an issue and they're cheap. What's the purpose of vibrational compensation? So you can get rid of ringing. If you're printing very fast, you can get rid of ringing. So running input shaper will reduce ringing and you can print faster. I mean, Marlin does have it now. I don't think it's fully implemented, but Clipper was one of the biggest reasons why I started messing around with Clipper was input shaper. Not really, not commercially anyways. I don't sell printers commercially. I sell my printers like locally in Canada, but like when I'm done with them, I'll sell them off or whatever. I'm building the 2020 Mark II. Oh, awesome. I'm going to use PVC pipes for the printed parts. Very cool. Do you have any tips or suggestions? Also, I want to know if you'd be making the manual. You can, the Rook manual, like the Rook MK1 manual is very similar. The concepts are pretty the same. The Rook 2020 is just a 2020 version of the Rook. So it's not that much different. There are a couple differences in that type of thing. So the Rook manual is a good start. I don't really have many tips for you on a PVC pipe version of it, but as long as you can make a square frame top and bottom, you should be able to make a cool mod and make a printer like that. I want to build a clay, yeah, a clay 3D printer would be really neat. I've seen a couple of those, but not too many. I think honestly, yeah, for clay, a lot of times you want vases, right? Like pottery and clay, it's all about like round objects and vases and things like that, and you want tall. Deltas are really good at tall. That's one of their big strong suits is tall prints. Aloha from Hawaii. Welcome, Tony. Thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah. Compiling Marlin, not my cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with Marlin though. If you enjoy compiling and using Marlin, then yeah, Marlin does work. Absolutely. It's not my personal favorite, but it does absolutely work. And it's great to see now that they have input shaper. Absolutely. So yeah, I think I'm done for building for today for this one. I will show you guys a finished version of this printer. I'll bring over my finished version. Thanks so much, Gene. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll show you guys my finished version of this printer. Prototype, I should say. If I can get it over here and not break anything. So, now this one is a prototype. So bear with me on that, but you can at least get an idea on what a finished printer, what we're building, right? So I accidentally broke this, but we'll take the door off of this so you can see it. I will have videos of these printing on my channel, don't worry. And we will be printing when we finish building that Delta. So you guys will see how we calibrate it and all that kind of stuff. You'll see how we go through the clipper config and all that kind of stuff. But I want to take this door off. There's a printer for everybody, I will say. I mean, there's printers out there that are maybe not great and need some work, but I think any printer can be made to be good, if that makes sense. There you go. So, there you go. So, it's a little dusty. This is an older prototype. But get this effector down here. You can get an idea on what we're building. But this guy, I don't want to take this apart. I'm most likely going to sell this. I'm going to sell this locally, or maybe I'll give it away. We'll do a live stream giveaway or something like that on it. But yeah, this is the whole idea right here. So this one is 50 millimeters shorter. This is just a prototype, but this is what we're building. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, it's small, right? Like there's a comparison with my hand. It's a pretty tiny little printer. It's just nice to have, like, you can set it up on your desk, like in the corner of your desk or something like that. You can print off all sorts of cool stuff. These would be really good for printing like tabletop figures, minis, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I print all my own parts. Yeah, I printed them on my Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon. I was Kickstarter backer 800, I think, for that thing. It's one of my best printers, absolutely. So yeah, this is what we are assembling. Um, and I will be designing a bigger Delta printer eventually, but I have like a lot of printer projects on the go. So actually, let's just put this over here so I'm not tripping over everything. So for a Delta, we're making the arms ourselves using MP Jet arms. Hey, no, we're not printing yet. We got pretty far today though. I'm missing some bearings, unfortunately, so we can't go full on, but we did make quite a bit of progress. We got the top and bottom frame basically ready to go. So the arms are what are called MP jets. So that is a Delta, arm. This is a high quality arm, and essentially what we're doing is we're going to be printing out the jig, which is in the tools folder on printables. If I put this in, and we're using a carbon fiber rod, and we're basically going to be attaching them to this jig. So you want to do one arm at a time. You want to use the same jig every time. You want these to be as accurate as possible. And yeah, I'm just using JB Weld or epoxy. And I have carbon rods that I cut to length. And there's just some M3 threaded rods, and that's how we make the arms. Yeah, it's very similar. You could use RC, like Traxxas RC hobby joints. However, they are going to have too much play. So I highly recommend MP jets. These are very, very high quality. They have no play in them, and they are designed for this purpose. So be careful with RC ball joints. They are not really up to the task of that. So this printer can print ABS, PLA, PETG. My small purple one is only for PLA, of course. It's not enclosed, but this is an enclosed printer and it can print ABS. FDM printers are pretty accurate. I mean, obviously it's not like CNC accuracy or anything like that, but they are very accurate for sure. Magnetics arms are good. They're heavy though. They're not really made for speed. I have designed, my Phoenix Delta had magnetic arms, Hayden Huntley arms. There's magnetics arms on AliExpress and things like that. They work well. They're very low friction and they're very nice, but they are heavy. They will add weight to your effector. Yeah, I'm using a bamboo hot end, so all my hot ends are all metal hot ends. So now, deltas are inherently not great for ABS, being that all your heat rises to the top, right? So it's hard to have the entire chamber nicely heated. I think like a flying gantry, like a Voron 2.4 is probably best, but you can definitely get 40 degrees plus chamber temperature with an enclosed printer like this, and you can absolutely print ABS on this. But yeah, most modern hot ends are all metal nowadays, so they can definitely print ABS. Absolutely. And I just use bamboo hot ends, bamboo clone hot ends. They're very cheap. They're ceramic heaters. They work very, very well. So that's why I use those. Pop this out here. So next Saturday's stream, we are going to be doing the carriages. So we are actually going to be installing all 3 carriages with their IGES bearings. So I am using Drylin IGES bearings. So these do not have ball bearings in them or anything like that. These are Drylin. Again, it's for making them nice and quiet. I'm missing one bearing though. I only have 5 and I need 6. So otherwise we would be assembling these carriages. Favorite vegetable and favorite meat? Oh man. I don't know that I have a favorite. Beef is my favorite meat. Obviously steak, hamburgers, typical stuff like that. Vegetable though, I don't know. Carrots, snap peas. Yeah, you can absolutely heat the chamber. It's just unfortunately all your heat's going to rise to the top and it's going to sit around the top of the print area, right? Even though you're going to be printing down here. So, I mean, that's the same with a lot of Core XY printers, but like, it depends on that. I personally don't print carbon fiber filament, but I do have an X1 carbon that can print. Ooh, mangoes for fruit. Mangoes are very delicious. Watermelon, mangoes, tropical fruits are delicious. Yeah, snap peas, fresh snap peas out of the garden. Yeah. Cucumbers are pretty good too. Absolutely. So yeah, we are going to be finishing off the carriages next stream. Like I say, I do have them all printed. We're going to run some belts probably next stream, I imagine. So I'm going to order some more bearings, make sure I have belts. Our idlers go in the top of the frame here. You can kind of see the idler mount here. So essentially we're going to have an idler here that's going to tension the belts. Yeah, it's very rep wrap. You're correct. This is rep wrap style. It is it's not entirely rep wrap. It can't print itself. The parts are a little bit too big for this, but it is a printed frame for sure. So it's meant to be inexpensive and to get people into deltas, because delta printers are very cool. And there's not very many DIY delta printers out there, and I would like to offer a kit for this eventually. So yeah, there are kits for some of my designs. So there is a Rook kit. LDO makes a Rook kit. If you check out West 3D or Fabrico, they do carry my Rook kits, which is, you can't really see it. So this guy right here, you can buy a kit for this printer. LDO makes them. They're very, very nice. So we will be doing some live streams on that guy too. I have to put some metal parts and stuff like that on there. But yeah, so a really small delta, mostly 3D printed. It's just a really great idea. So watch my, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check it out. You're going to see a lot of videos on this printer and my other designs and things like that. So absolutely. But yeah, that's probably it for today. An hour and a half stream, 35 viewers, really awesome. I appreciate all of you guys coming by and chatting with me. It was really fun. We will be finishing these carriages off next Saturday. I'm going to be streaming pretty much every Saturday. Next Saturday stream though will be later. So I was streaming at 11 my time, which is 11 Mountain Standard Time. I will be streaming at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time next Saturday. So I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to support me on Patreon, check out my YouTube channel. I have my link for Patreon on there if you want to support me. I am unemployed, so all the money I can get is helpful, but you of course do not have to support. These are all free on printables. So check out my printables. There is a link. I should have pinned that for you guys, but if you want to check out my designs on printables, I will pin this once I find it. So I will pin this message for you guys. So at the top of chat, you can see my my printables page. So I've got a lot of printer designs on there. If you guys want to build them, join my Discord. I'm happy to have more people on Discord and enjoying 3D printing with all of us. It's a really great place to be, my Discord. So thanks for stopping by. I will check you guys later, and we'll talk on next Saturday. Thanks again, everyone.